We have Ms Wang Xinting. Xinting is an author and also children reading promoter. She has 2 novels for young adults, and she also recently published a book about children's book authors, a book about children's book in which she interviewed many children book creators from China and also from all over the world. Yeah, here we go. Xinting.
So good evening, everyone. It's my great pleasure and honor to attend the See Me as a Science Person picture book exhibition and opening ceremony today. Actually, I brought my 3-year-old daughter, but she couldn't sit still. I was texting my husband, "Come a bit quick, it's me on stage," because I thought the schedule stand with the 2 more people before me, but it's okay, she will be here. Yeah. So actually, before I came here, I read a lot of the picture books here on display on my computer, and I was already very impressed then. And then when I came here, I saw them in hard copies. I was even more impressed. So also my daughter had great fun looking at all the picture books as well. Professor Chen told me a lot of you will become science teachers after you finish your studies here. I know you're not here to become professional picture book makers, but maybe you can if you want. But you definitely will use children's books and picture books in your teaching if you become a science teacher in the future. And I think it's really helpful to have the experience of making a book yourself so that you understand the process a little bit better, and maybe in the future you can you know how to choose the good books to use in the classroom. So as Professor Chen said, I'm an author and also promoter of children's reading. In the past 6 years, I interviewed a lot of authors and illustrators from China and around the world. So today maybe I just use this opportunity to share some of the things they told me during the interviews. So one of the people I interviewed is called Ms Xinting. I don't know if you know him. He wrote. So these are some of the books he created, such as Grand Canyon, Redwoods, Your Place in the Universe, and they won lots of important awards in the US, and they're all very good non-fiction books for children. You can see in a lot of non-fiction books, there's a lot of information, but sometimes there isn't really a story. But in Jason's book, he tries really to combine an interesting narrative. You can see maybe from here, an interesting narrative with scientific knowledge. So that's what makes the books engaging for young readers. And I saw in the books you created, you already know that, and you already try to make science fun for children to read. And also in the interview, another very important word he mentioned was emotion. You might ask, why do you need emotion for science books? But actually, without emotion, it's very difficult, for the children to feel connected to the books they read about. For example, they might feel intrigued or interested or happy or sad or proud or scared. All of these things could be the emotions the little readers feel when they read about science, and that's what makes them want to read more. And for picture books, the illustrations can do a lot of that, So maybe I read one paragraph from the interview. So Jason Qin said, "The illustrations in my books serve many functions. They communicate science, of course, but they also communicate the story and emotion. For example, the illustration might need to show what an animal looks like, but you will also need to fit into the sequence of illustrations to tell the story, and I might also want to communicate a sense of joy or fear. All of these functions are important, and I try to make images do all 3 successfully." And another person I interviewed is called Steve Jenkins. Sadly, he passed away a few years ago, and he made lots of books about animals. So here are some titles we can look at, like "What do you do with a tail like this?" "How to swallow a pig?" "How many ways can you catch a fly?" So you can see they're all very interesting titles, and many people write about animals, but you can always find the not so often thought about angle to share all kinds of interesting facts about animals, and that's how you make children interested in the information or in the science you want to talk about. I will give you one more example. That's a book called Just a Second. And in this book, he actually explores the concept of time, but he does it in a very interesting way. So, for example, in the book, he writes so what can animals do in a second? And he writes a rattlesnake shakes its tail in warning 60 times, a hummingbird beats its wings 50 times, a bumblebee beats its wings 200 times, and so on. So you can see how he can put different informations in a very interesting way. So I don't have a lot of time today, so these are the two authors I chose to share with you today. So to wrap up, I think good non-fiction books could be a very useful tool for science teaching, especially those not just listing facts, but provoke questions and express emotions and help raise lifelong science people. Thank you very much.